welcome to the Joy Link, where we share with you how to live a more joyful life. I'm your co-host Brian, and I'm joined by Julia. Julia, how are you?
Hello, I'm great. I have my fuzzy socks on, so I'm definitely ready to talk about today's episode.
Yes, we are getting into autumn. The seasons are changing. And so, what do you think about autumn? Do you have a favorite season? Like, how do you feel when the seasons change?
I think definitely when I was younger, I had my favorites, but now I learned how to appreciate all of them. And actually, we'll be diving into that today's episode. And actually, guys, I would like to say a massive thank you to listening to our podcast. We truly appreciate that, and we are doing our best. So, if you have any feedback, how we can be even better and what we can improve, we are always open to taking that in. And I would just like to tell you what you will learn in today's episode. So, this episode, depending where you live, maybe you live in the southern Spain or somewhere in Asia or Australia, but for people in majority of Europe and the US, unfortunately, that's not going to be the case because we will have a great autumn. So, we in this episode we will share with you how you can get through that sometimes nasty weather enjoy, and then you will get the tips how you can start relying on your inner sunshine. And also, to make the most out of your time, I would recommend you to wait until the end for the weekly task that will help you to implement into practice everything that you learned during the episode. So, Brian, what are we talking about today? You had something cool about experiment, right?
Yes, we're going to look into three different areas today, right? All about autumn. There's a global experiment that we do with 1.5 billion people every year. And then we're also going to look at the cycling seasons and why they're really good for us. And then creating joy in autumn. And then, of course, the challenge of the week.
And so, what is this experiment about? I think I
Right.
have never heard about it.
Right. So every autumn, we're faced with something called falling back, right? And in Europe this year, it's on the 27th of October. And, governments are debating its use. And, yet the facts remain that it is an experiment that 1.5 billion people are forced to lose 1 hour of sleep every season, right? It's a human experiment called daylight savings time. So in March, daylight savings time means that you lose an hour's sleep. And the crazy part is I looked in some of the research, and those global studies show that losing that 1 hour sleep correlates with massive spikes in heart attacks and traffic accidents the next day. That's crazy, right? And it works in both ways. So at the end of October, when autumn comes in, we move the clock back, right? And so we gain an hour of sleep. And so the rates of heart attacks and car accidents, they go down dramatically because we're more rested, right? The science really proves that the brain, by having those gaps in attention and it's affected by sleep, is just as sensitive as the heart to those very small adjustments to our sleep. People don't actually really think about it that much. It's like, yeah, the opposite is actually true. It's our sleep is one of the most incredibly important things about having a regular schedule and creating that circadian rhythm that our bodies just love. And so this season, it really plays around with that a little bit. And, last night I didn't have a great night of sleep, and I was, woke up and I was kind of suffering a little bit, and I was just woken up twice. Right. And then you just feel just a little bit off. So, yeah, it is an experiment that some governments are saying, hey, should we actually do this? It's like, what's the point? And, it can really play around with our physical and cognitive behavior and attention. And
This is fascinating. Like that, I would never thought about it. That 1 hour less of sleep could cause such a spikes, right, in the statistics. So wow.
Right.
And then 1 hour of more, right, then it's like decreased, that it's going both ways. But it definitely is fascinating. And yeah, I'm a huge fan of sleeping. For me, it's not I think if I'm past 10 p.m. for something, that means that this is truly important. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it, because I
Right.
prioritize my sleep above anything else. Because the truth is, sleep starts the chain reaction. Because, for example, if you don't sleep well, there is a hormone that it's starting to be that it's causing you to feel hungry in the morning. So sometimes when people are waking up hungry, it's because they did not sleep enough. I do not know how this hormone is called. You can just
Wow.
find it online if you really
Right.
want it. And then when you are hungry, right, first thing in the morning, and then you will go for carbs, that will cause your glucose spikes. And when you have those glucose spikes, then you have an energy crashes that you will require you to drink more coffee, have more sugar, have more carbs, that will provoke more to those spikes. And then when you have those crashes, then, and this like uneven cycle throughout the day, then you don't feel like working out, then you don't feel like doing cool stuff at the end of the day. So I would say sleep, it's crucial.
Yeah.
And this experiment is just showing how important it is. So, but I think that's a good thing about autumn, right? That we can sleep a little bit more. So for the countries, I came across that few years ago, that for the countries that they are affected by the changes, right? Like, for example, I'm in Denmark, it's a part of Scandinavia. So in winter, I think 4 p.m. it's dark, right? And then the sun is not rising until 10 p.m. 10 a.m. or something.
Right.
So there is just a little bit of gap of this. So that gives a chance to sleep a little bit longer, because
Right.
in comparison to summer, it's the sun is not setting until midnight or whatnot. So
Right.
right, it's bright all day long. So
Yeah.
you need to make the best out of the situation.
Right. And definitely prioritize your sleep. It's very important. Yeah. And go with the seasons, right? Because the cycling seasons are really good for us. You can't have a summer without a winter. You can't have the spring without the autumn, right? It's everything is connected in nature. And if summer is the light, then winter is the dark. And autumn is what that transition is. It's that balance between those extremes. And the equinox really brings that in. Like symbolically, autumn represents a new start, a new beginning, right? It's shedding of the old. And now you're going to see all the leaves come off, right? And it's this, oh, okay, there's a transition going on. It's the start of a new cycle. We bloomed, we had fun in the sun, summer was great, and now we're going into that more cocoon phase and letting go of the things that didn't work. And we're going to regenerate in that hibernation mode that's coming up so that we can arise anew in spring. So when the leaves fall, right, and the branches fall, well, then they become the soil that becomes the fertilizer to, breed new life into that tree, right? And we welcome it in spring. When it gets colder, we definitely want to stay inside and go indoors. Yet the opposite is actually incredibly healthy for us, right? Experiencing that shift, like winter is coming, right? So feeling the change as it occurs, seeing the change in the colors in the leaves, right? It's a slow transition instead of avoiding it. And then, oh my goodness, it's freezing outside.
Yeah, but when I think about it, I lived majority of my life do not honoring the cycle, right? That it was just, coming, because I do see that the world is more set up in the favor of the men, right? And then there is like this every day is the same kind of circadian rhythm, right? But then there is woman, and we have our own cycle as well that could be compared to seasons. And the thing is that this is not honored, right? There is so many women competing with men's and expecting to be on the same performance level, which is not realistic. Just looking at the hormones, right? And I remember like looking that the way how I will run something could impact the time of the month, which is
Right.
yeah, this is
Natural.
it's natural, right? So, but the same with the seasons, that everybody wants to like in summer, right? Like they reap the benefits, right? Like get what they put the seed in and then get it right away. But the truth is that we need those cycles. So even in business, when you start something, you need to wait until it grows, and when it grows, then you need to wait until you can pick the fruits of your work. So it's, and then there is winter comes, that was, and I think this is the beauty of sustainability in life, that
Right.
you cannot live like just in one season. And also it's a beautiful reminder of that the only constant in life is the change, and it's either we will embrace it or we will low-key suffer, because you cannot, yeah, because the nature is going its own path. And it's, I think it's also a beautiful reminder that when something is happening, it's just a season, something next will come after it. So
Right.
it comes from when you are in the great place, embrace it, enjoy it, be grateful for it, because there could be a next season that maybe it will be a little bit different. And then when you are,
Right.
let's say, not in the best space, and you are maybe, yeah, like things just sucks around it, and then you are not loving where you are at the moment, it's just a season. It's maybe
Right.
winter, spring will come, new things will born out of it. And that's such a beauty, like of life, that it's not, because if there would be summer, it's not so fun all the time, or just
Right.
spring all the time.
Right. Yeah, that is a really excellent point, how we can put our mindset into a perspective around cycles, and not just, oh, the summer's over, I've lost it forever. No, it's coming around again. Yeah, there's a couple steps to get to it, and it's going to be better next time. Right?
Mm.
Yeah, I also know from traveling a bit, there was one specific time when I went from summer to summer. I was in Southeast Asia, and then I took off to Australia. And then from there, I went into the States. And so it was like summer to summer. Oh man, skipped all the rest of that. It was absolutely fantastic. I said, oh man, I got to do this. Yet when I was growing up, there was 4 seasons, like really strong seasons. Like we had winter that's like it lands like this in 2 days, just like 2 feet in 2 days, boom, like this. And then it would stay there for 3 months. And living in the Netherlands, it doesn't snow. It rains in the spring, it rains in the autumn, and yeah, the winter is just cold and rainy. So yeah, there are definite ways that we can really celebrate all the different seasons in their specific ways, so that we can create more joy during this, like you said, that great time.
Exactly. But actually, I just had a thought about this while you were talking about the seasons and the importance of the cycle.
Yeah.
It's also coming a lot from how the Western world is like on the linear philosophy.
Yeah.
And versus, let's say, East. I remember I had this conversation with my Chinese flatmate, because I wanted to explain a concept of something, of memento mori or carpe diem, right? If you are
Right.
living in the Western world, you must know what I'm talking about, because we're all forced to learn about it. And
Right.
then in she had no idea what I'm talking about. I'm like, what do you mean? Like my Chinese friend, like, what do you mean you don't know what you are talking about? And then I realized that they have more circular, they have cycles, where
Right.
we have more linear approach, that
Right.
we are here and then there is death, right? So that changes so much, because we are not able to withstand the fact that things are changing and they are coming in cycle, and the things will come back, and this is just like a part of the process that is pretty
Right.
much never ending, because we see the world a little bit more or less a line, which is not
Right.
true, because there is nothing a straight line in the world, right? In the universe or
Yeah.
nature and whatnot. So I found it like a mental, like a breakthrough, like, wow, they were just taught different. So it's this seasonality is super important, because yeah, like once you need to take time for yourself, and once you are super social, and this is normal. You
Right.
cannot be the same 365 days in a year. It's not sustainable. And
Correct.
the same, like, because if somebody that is listening to this podcast is thinking that because we are called the Joy Link, we expect from you to be positive and I don't know, shoot the rainbows out of your ass. Absolutely not. This is
Every
not
every
the
single
object.
moment of the day.
Yeah, in every single moment of the day. No, what we're doing our best on the podcast is to inspire you or show you how you can choose joy instead of, yeah, I don't like the alternative, so I don't even say it out loud.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, but Brian, how we can all create more joy in autumn?
Like you were talking about the East and the West, the line versus the circle, right? And the circle being the more natural one. All we have to do is align with all of the great things that only happen in autumn. Then we honor it, and then we can find the joy and embrace it, right? So when I think about autumn, I think about campfires, right? Sitting around a campfire and having some warm drinks, right? Outside with friends, right? It's getting a little cold. You may see your breath for the first time if you wake up early in the morning, right? And the sun is really low, and you'll see the dew glistening or the frost glistening on the leaves. It's a really autumn thing, like walking in the woods and really seeing the change in the color of the leaves. That's one of the most beautiful things, and it's outside, right? We want to stay inside, know there's a fireplace, look at that. But it's about the going outside. Yeah,
And
and when I was a kid, I would have so much fun just jumping in the piles of leaves, right? Because it's like someone's out there, oh, I hate this, and they have to rake it all up. But then you get those big piles, and you just jump in them like that. Um, whenever I see a pile of leaves, I still jump in it because that inner
that's
child is just, I allow that. It's like, yeah, man, who cares? Let's go.
I love that. And speaking of the warm drinks, if you like what we are doing in the podcast and you enjoy to listening to us and you would like to do something nice for us, you can get us a coffee on buymecoffee.com/the journaling. So yeah, I will be definitely like this autumn having more chai lattes and teas. And I think this is so cool that what you said, I absolutely love it, that embracing things that you can do in the season, right? Because you
Right,
cannot sit in summer like under the blanket with the candles all over you, right? That feels a little bit off, and I feel like there is much more pressure, let's say social pressure, to be out because you know that the following months won't be so nice. So just
right,
to stay in, and it's also, I feel like those beautiful dinners inside with the candles when it's darker outside and you can just, yeah, like stay cozy. Yeah, I just love fuzzy socks. And yeah, I have this yogi tea that I also like and reading a little bit of quotes on it. Yeah, and yeah, I think definitely I'm reading more books in autumn
right.
versus summer. And it's just so cool. Yeah.
Yeah, those are definitely specifically autumn-based activities,
Yeah.
right?
And I feel like there is a reason why there are not so many movie premieres in summer, right? Because nobody is watching movies. Everyone is at the festival, but in
Right.
autumn, then where this is where the catching up is happening.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know that in the States specifically, there's holidays that are geared towards families, right?
Yeah.
It's like all about the pumpkins and the outfits, and then there's Thanksgiving with the family get-togethers, and yet globally, it's really more of a natural, let's say, the changing of the leaves. And you're going to see some of the most amazing photography of the whole year in that specific time. It's like you can actually witness the magic. And that can bring about that incredible joy because it's in such a short time, and there might be only like 3, 4 days when that tree is just yellow or red, or right next to the green and the brown, and all the different colors come out. It's like the last big smile of the year
Mm.
before the seasons kind of go to sleep for for a little bit.
Yeah.
That's what autumn is, right?
Yeah, it does feels like it that the trees are changing the color, right? There's like a hi, bye.
Right.
Like
Yeah, it's
this,
the harvest time.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I love that it's yeah, that there is so much of changes in terms of even how people are. showing up, right? Because there
Right.
is much more, I think, in autumn, there is a greater need for hanging out, right? Because,
Right.
for example, there are many things in Denmark that they are not were operating on in during the summer because people are away and they are doing stuff, right? Going to the summer houses, but then in fall there is this need for human connection again because I guess
Right.
people they have the tendency to feel more lonely being indoors, right? But then there is this beautiful concept of hygge that we spoke on the podcast before, and I absolutely love that. Is this art of being cozy and enjoying yourself? It's a little bit like and you don't have to do it with other people. You can do it on your own. And
Right.
actually, when I was traveling as a student, I loved coming back to Denmark because I could like think that I will breathe in here without, running around and changing places every 2 days. So it was so good to just be somewhere when it's peace and quiet. But I think
Yeah.
not everyone is okay with this lack of stimulus, right? That's why then there is this overconsumption happening, right? People are gaining weight because when you don't have those instant, right, like a lot of things going on. So, what could be a solution to that? I think some routines, right? Rituals, but of course,
Right.
your favorite one.
Right. Yeah, there is a lot more emotional eating because like the summer's over, we can put the bikinis and the swimsuits away, and now we can just kind of go into our right.
Mhm.
It's like what the squirrels do. They grab all the right, they grab all the nuts because the cold's coming, and that's what the farmers do too. They grab all the stuff. Yet, yeah, in that change, loving ourselves in a way that doesn't overindulge, overconsume, right? We don't dive into Netflix or movies, or it can be more family orientated. So yes, there is a autumn joy list that we are going to put out.
Yeah, but also just I wanted to mention it that if you want to, and you can hang out with us in the evenings during that autumn, because we're going live on Thursday on Instagram, and then we're still defining which day we'll go live on Facebook. We need to test out something. So absolutely, you are more than welcome to join us. And yes, so what is the task of the week, Brian?
The task of the week is to create your personal or your family's, right? Because you can do it together, your autumn joy list. And simply write down, let's say, 10 different activities that you can do that specifically in the autumn time, right? Those couple months in there that you can do together and you can have fun doing family things, doing things that are, going to get you outside so that you can experience that change in the season, that beauty that the nature is going to give you. Only this little small window. So that's a challenge for the week.
And just think about it that whatever, how old you are, right? And then subtract it from 100. So I'm 29. I just had my birthday last month. So if I will be lucky to live to 100, that means that I have 71 autumns left. It's not
Yeah,
so much.
yeah,
So just think about it. How many do you have left?
right.
Enjoying it fully in full capacity of your body and mind. And yeah, so in this episode, we spoke about this crazy global experiment, which called daylight saving. Right, like when we switch to the time, the next one is coming on the 27th of October, and that it highlighted the importance of sleep. So losing that 1 hour can cause distress, not only in your body but in the world, let's say. And then we spoke about why cycling seasons are good for us. So embrace the fall, and you can do it by finding joy in autumn. So yeah, like stock up on your favorite tea, coffee, like try chai latte if you haven't already, and then get your favorite books, movies, make a list of 10 activities as a task of the week that you wanted to do this fall alone or with your family. I'm keep saying fall, but yeah, like I like this word more, to be honest. And yeah, you are more than welcome to join us on lives on Facebook and Instagram. And then you can join our Facebook group, Joiling Community, to hang out more with us and just be up to date. And also I would like you to say massive thank you for being here and listening to us. And if you see the value of what we're talking on, share it with someone that you love and spread the joy. And we will be here with you this autumn for sure.
Yeah, and we'll definitely see you next week for another episode of the Joy Link. So we'll see you in the next one.
Enjoy. Bye.
Thanks. Ciao.